Hey there, guys. So, I know it's been a while since I uploaded a video, and as I posted to before, I've been working on some issues with some other things. Some personal, some equipment-wise. Just kind of a big mix of things that I've not just been able... I haven't made a video in a while, and I plan on making one here shortly. Maybe I'll start one tonight. I don't know for sure yet. Like I said, I'm still having an issue with figuring out editing. There's a lot to learn in that regard, and I don't feel too comfortable uploading a video until, I don't want to say I've mastered it, but until I've at the very least figured out exactly how to do it to a good extreme. I don't plan on doing too much editing with this. I'm probably going to try to at least block out pictures and names for now. But anyways, I made this video about something else in particular. First of all, you all know me, King Winsel. I'm going to block out my name on here because I don't need you guys seeing my name. Not that it actually freaking matters. I don't care. But I am an admin on this Facebook group called Xbox United. Now, the group's been around for a long time. It's gone through several layers of ownership. It's even gone through a couple reiterations of it due to other issues that have transpired deeper into the past. Now, of course, as you know, being on this page, there's a lot of different, mostly Xbox content, a couple other contents as well. But lately, one of the big key discussions has been, as seen right here on my screen, Star Wars Battlefront 2. And it's something that has been a big conversation for a lot of people. People disagreeing with how EA went about it. Now, I want to go ahead and say right now for the record that, yes, I do not agree with anything EA has done. Now, I actually wrote something here, and I have it written here, but I'm going to read this too. This very first quote is taken right out of the article. But at this point, they might as well just make everything unlocked from the beginning and give us everything for free. Right off the bat, I start with this. Hey folks, isn't that kind of the point? If I want to play as Darth Vader, I should be allowed to from the second I load up the damn game. It's not for the purpose of making you work for it, but rather they want to make you pay for it, or make you grind out for it, both of which makes the company money, or bumps up their hours played and bumps up their servers and everything, which will make them look really good among contract time. They can get more money, EA can get more money, it's all the money game, a big money scheme, and I realize it's a business, it's about making money. But there's a line between making money and making too much money that you're ripping other people over. Now, before I read the rest of this, I want to scroll. No, I do not want to scroll. I want to open up the discussions real quick and show you one other thing. Now, this is an article I put up here too. If I can find it, right here. Back in 2016, the EA executives responded to how they were voted as the worst company in America. Now, this is not 2016 is not the first year they were voted worst company in America. I do not know offhand. Let me see if I can't find that real quick. Of course, I can't freaking spell. Anyways, in 2013, they won their second time. Second three, not two. Two. As for the actual counter, I don't seem to see one offhand, and I don't feel like digging into it too far. But at the very least, 3 years, they were voted worst company in America. In mix of business practices, among other things. So going back to here, I'm going to continue reading. Because they released this big update, which did change a bunch of stuff. It made changes, sure. But they released $30 worth of content. You could probably argue, some would argue they released $60 worth of content, but at the same time, this is speaking as my perspective and what I value the game as. I'm not much of a multiplayer video game. I enjoy the single stories. I'll play a multiplayer game for maybe half an hour, 45 minutes at a time before I get bored with it and go on to something else, because it's too repetitive for me to play multiplayer. That's why I just don't get much enjoyment out of it. So for me, since it's a multiplayer game, I don't ever want to spend more than $30, $30, $35, maybe $40 on a good game. That's all or mostly multiplayer. I realize they added a campaign, but just adding a campaign doesn't do it for me. Now, they did do some good improvements with this over the previous one. They added the Clone Wars era, which I like that era in terms of the aesthetics. A lot of people are going to hate me being like, oh no, he likes the prequels. Ugh. I didn't hate the prequels. The only problem with the prequels was it was too much freaking romance. But that's not the point. In terms of the aesthetics and combat, I preferred that era. I also liked having instant action. So I can just go into a map of my choice with a team of my choice, or the side of my choice, and just do a fight against computers, AIs. Because again, I don't like multiplayer. My way is the way I like to do it. I also like to do what was called Galactic Conquest on the first one. I'm sorry, second one. Don't remember if the first one had it. I played a little bit of the first one. A lot of the first one, but it's been a while since I played it. I do own them both on my Xbox. And I sometimes still play them on my 360. I think they were both backwards compatible. Anyways, I'm straying from the point yet again. Big surprise. Anyways, so one of the many things I always thought the originals were definitely better, and these ones, the newer ones, catered to the multiplayer audience instead of the single player audience. And I understand that there is a collection of people who reasons I don't understand, get major enjoyment out of multiplayer video gaming. But I rest my case with that. They charged us $60 and asked people to fork even more money in DLC. I realized upon posting this, using the term DLC was not accurate, and I kind of stated a little bit more along the line further down, but my point still stands with that as well. It's bullshit, not right. Now, when DLC first came a thing, it was to provide additional content to the gamers after a game was released. This would make the company a little bit more money because they could still sell something related to the current game. They don't have to make a whole new game and put a lot more money into development. They can go with what they already got and add more to it. They make a bit more money off of it, and we get more content, which we were fine paying for. But then the same concept can apply for the loot boxes. You could pay some in-game coins for some things that were deemed maybe interesting at first. Some are useless, some are completely useless, some are borderline maybe useful. A lot of them fall into the ideas of cosmetic changes. Some can affect your game to a degree, not to certain degrees. Some it depends on what you get out of them. A lot of what was in Battlefront was how do I say this? A lot of it was more cosmetic, but there were a few things that could be kind of game altering. But that's not really as important right there, though. However, we developed into a culture of game design where instead they would limit the content of the launch title only to charge you for DLC content, which should have been in the game at the launch. Or they add content that should have been the game in loot boxes, where games like Overwatch actually give you enough materials while playing to get free boxes, which is fine. Or games like Battlefront, where you have to buy for a stupid cosmic change or a slightly better weapon or whatever you're aiming for. That's why I like Overwatch for one, is that they don't kill you with their loot box system. Pretty much everything in a loot box is all cosmetic, and you can still get most of it, by playing just the game a million times over. It's like the only multiplayer game I can also enjoy for more than 45 minutes at a time. Anyways, it's gone on long being pay for some cool extras, and it's gone towards pay us, and you, yes you, the player, can have an advantage over the other folks who overpaid for our already ridiculous, overzealous video game. Now, I hate the concept of DLC and loot boxes in our current gaming lifestyle. It was fine before, but not so much now. It can cause disruptions and kill moods. Takes the fun out of playing a game. Now, I'm going to touch back here, right here, on what I did say in the first part, because I don't want to say I changed a thought, because that'd be weird in this section. But I did have a slight rethink when I got further down. When I said, hey folks, that's kind of the point. I want to play as Darth Vader. I should be allowed to the second I upload the damn game. But if there's going to be a grind for anything, which can be okay sometimes, there shouldn't be a way for someone to just simply play or pay to get it ahead of time. Now, again, this goes back to like an example for me. Like I said, is I can play a game for half an hour, 45 minutes before I get bored and don't touch it again for another week. But maybe I want to play as frickin' Darth Vader. I either pay, or it's going to be months to a year before I ever unlock the character because I don't have enough fun playing the game. They're going among a trend which is becoming more common. And I worry that the gaming industry is going to jump into a change that's going to be even more regressive. That's why companies like I almost said Obsidian. Frick, what's the name I'm thinking of? Hold on. Hold on. What's the frickin' name? Bethesda, correct. Because Bethesda, they do mods, which is a conversation that happened further in this link. I'll answer that when I'm done here. Bethesda, they care about the single-player games. They're one of the few that really do anymore. They make games that are single-player, and they also allow mods. Even on the consoles, they now allow mods, which is something you never see on consoles, and something I don't think you're ever gonna see on consoles ever. Because when you can do mods, half of the point of DLC go out the window. Because you can mod practically anything. If you actually go and look at modding communities, which I recommend heavily that you go out and check these modding communities, just make sure that before you download a mod on any game of any kind, just make sure that the mod that you are downloading is off a safe site. Make sure that it is good and safe to download. There are sites out there for mods, legal mods. They're not talking pirating or anything, but mods that are legal perfectly, that are made for those, and that are usually very, very safe. As safe as downloading your app from the App Store that you know you like and works. It's nice and clean. And they can give you a much broader sense of not only what the game is capable of, but what people are capable of on a creative level. You have DLC released for $25, $20, $10, 15, whatever DLCs go for. They vary depending on what's in them. And I understand, of course, those people are created by a giant team, but you're also talking about video games that make billions and billions of dollars, if not more. Depends on the game. More of them are like heavy in the millions, but some can reach into the billions, at least as a company as a whole over a great lifespan. More than enough. You're talking companies that are still able to somehow save, like, have $250,000, $500,000 in their savings they just don't touch. That's partly why I believe that video games are still too expensive now than they are. Or it could be, especially in the economy we have today, but that's completely straying from my point. I got to that and I wanted to ran off on that, and I kind of want to go back to the mods here for a little bit too. I didn't intend to touch on mods, but I figure it's a good time to do so. Mods, again, play a very important factor. You have a mod person, maybe one person, maybe a team of 5. Some mods can be done with a very heavy team of friends, maybe 20 people. People that are friends, and know each other. Now, they don't do these mods for profit. They do them, some will ask for donations, but if you have to pay for a mod, you're probably not on a safe site, because most modders are not going to charge you for the mod. Some small ones could hit big enough where you might get charged a small fee, but that's not very often. Most of these people are going to release grand content on a grand scale, and it's going to be free for you to download and get hours and hours and hours, if not even more, days, weeks, months of enjoyment. And all it takes is downloading something without paying a penny. And then you got these game companies here, though. They release something that's half finished or half done or something you can finish in 20 minutes. And they charge you $20 for the thing. I know, again, it's a business. But there's a line between being a business and being greedy. And companies like Bethesda are a business that is completely opposite of greedy. Bethesda games are probably worth more than $60 in game content alone. With how long you can sit and play through a story game that you could play endlessly for hours and hours and hours on end. If you go to Steam and look at how the hours some people have put into games, let's check that real quick. Just to look at something out of a pure curiosity. Skyrim, which is also on here only for $37. Buy, it's really good. Positive reviews out the yin yang. We're going down here, 314 hours. Greed Bethesda paid mods. I have not ran across any paid mods yet, so I'm not sure what that's about. And the script extender does work with that. I know that because I use it. 213. We only had 2 hours. 112. 13 hours. Can I... let's see. Date range. Can I split this between who had the most hours? It doesn't seem so. No, I can't seem to split it between who had the most hours. So let's go through a little bit further. 9, 19, 76. 452, 55, 81, 145, 142. They must have added microtransactions, though, into this, because I've not run into any microtransactions. That's from October, though, so I'm not even sure. 450 hours, 595. There's a lot of hours in these games that you can spend, drive hours and hours into, weeks, months of your life. And you don't spend more than $50, $60 on it. You spend a lot more. You're going to get the other game. You're going to get a Call of Duty game, Battlefront. You're going to spend the same amount for it. You're going to maybe put, 200 hours into the thing, and if that, and then never freaking touch it again. By the time you finally get 200 hours in, they got the servers shut down. Heck, by that point, they've got a sequel out already. And it's like, buy this one now, too! Even though it's more of the same bloody thing. There was a time when the game companies had a heart. And they cared about the people. But when you look today, I just don't believe many do. I had a random feather stuck in my sock. Cool. Not many care about the people anymore. It's gotten bad, stingy, and it's becoming it's making a community more volatile. And if you look anywhere on social media, and you look up stuff on Google, you're going to notice there's a lot of arguments. People for years have been arguing about Call of Duty, and you got people now arguing over Battlefront. The people that are in favor on the side of the game companies, and then you got people on the side of the players. A few in between, but not too many. But as a gaming community, it's just supposed to be games we like, games we pay for, that we enjoy. Now again, these are just my perspectives. Obviously, you as a viewer could have a completely different perspective than me, and that is perfectly fine. I'm not saying go up in arms. If you want to make a case like I did on a Facebook group, go ahead. I mean, only like 2 people are going to care about it anyways. unless you're super popular, in which case maybe up to 1,000 will care if you're lucky. But it's not going to influence anything, and that's the problem too. We're not, us as gamers, we may think we're more influential now, but I just don't feel like we are. I feel like we were more influential back in the day. I mean, look at what happened back, back long ago when the game company kind of ruined the idea of a video game console. So they marketed the Nintendo as an entertainment system. It even was marketed enough in the entertainment system to be put in the toy aisles at stores, not electronics. Toys. Gamers helped influence that when everything started to get botched. There's been a few situations in the past where things have gone in interesting ways. A lot of people had issues with Mass Effect 3. I'm one of those people. I hated the ending. They released a piece for it. I believe the piece was free, and a free update that changed the ending. But the ending was barely changed. It was still terrible and atrocious. But that was when EA at least kinda tried. Now they just don't care to try. They released an update altering a few factors, but that's all they did. That's it. I've ranted on for probably longer than I should, though. But I'm not saying sit down and change everything. I'm not. A lot needs changed, yes. But there are different ways to go about changing things. We need to work with the companies, yes. We need to get the companies to listen to us more. They'll say day to day, we listen to you all the time, but you don't. You really don't. You try to some degree. Some companies really do try. Others kind of try. That's part of the reason why while I don't always care for a lot of indie games, I support indie developers tooth and nail. Even if I hate an indie game, I'm gonna support it because it's made by an indie crew. They built the game not for profit, but for people. And that's why, in a lot of cases, those indie games are gaining more traction. They do better than some of the AAA games out there. It needs to be a full-fledged discussion. A discussion that's not happening. A discussion that I don't ever see happening. But it needs to be a discussion. So go ahead. If you want to try to write or tweet to these game companies, let them know your thoughts. But don't do what a lot of people do either. A lot of people will only ever tweet the bad things. But you never see many tweets of the good things. Yeah, there's a lot of bad with this, but if you like something about it, if you're one of the people that enjoys loot boxes and outrageous DLC, just say something. Post a positive note. At least make them know that some people out there are at least appreciative of what they're trying to do. Even if you're one of those people that strongly disagree with it, don't attack the person that agrees with it. If you want to have a civil conversation and discuss it, do so. It's well within your rights. I strayed a little bit from my initial point, which was just to talk about DICE and EA and what they were doing here, but I kind of branded it out into a couple different subjects, all of which I thought were kind of interesting to talk about nonetheless. And in between, while I'm trying to get game content uploaded, I want to kind of do some discussions, or at least, talk a little bit. I know some of my YouTubers I watch do that very rarely, but they can do that. I have nothing else on the matter at the moment to say. If anything changes or I feel that something more does need said, I will say it. I'm not going to try to hold back, but I'm going to try to make sure that I'm respectful as possible over the opinions of other people. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for tuning into this. Thanks for listening to me yammer for It must have been 15 minutes now, if not a little bit longer. So, thank you again. Oh no, 25 minutes and 4 seconds. So I'm definitely going to stop now. Thank you guys for watching. I promise I'm going to get some actual content up again here shortly. Again, I'm still working on the fine-tuning and the editing to try to make it nice, because I don't want to keep uploading crap kind of type videos. But yeah, so, again, thank you guys for watching. I hope that you all have a very nice day, very nice evening, very nice whatever, happy whatever holiday you happen to be celebrating by the time you ever see this video. Bye-bye.